Welcome to our Team Southern Strong call. It is December 6th. It's our first call in December, which is kind of exciting. We're in the last month of 2016. I want to congratulate you all on an awesome November. There were some people who put some points on the board at the very last minute, and I loved that because it meant that we were not giving up no matter what. Moving forward, keeping our sights on our goals, and I just appreciate and love you all so much for that because y'all get it. And thank you to whoever's on the call tonight live that, again, I love having guest speakers on our calls because those are the calls that I get the most out of. And I feel so honored that we have Rachel here with us tonight. So those of you who are able to get on live, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited for y'all to hear from Rachel and her story. Just a reminder, I posted in our team page today kind of my mental game plan for the end of the month about how I finished quarter fours today, and I'm going to transition over tomorrow for the 3-week yoga retreat. But I didn't really go into much explanation about that too much. Everything that I'm kind of getting from the different groups that I am in, from the Diamond groups and just conversations with Jen and conversations with Val and some of Melanie Mitro's calls, it seems like in 2017, Beachbody's maybe not a huge jump, but there's definitely going to be a shift more toward Beachbody on demand. And I don't talk about it at all. I don't mention it. I take pictures of my laptops in the background, but I really don't speak about it a lot. And there's so much to offer on there. So for December, my goal is to start building that up. So when 2017 comes around, people aren't like, oh my gosh, what is this thing that she's talking about? So I have not heard anything, but I know that it's coming up soon. There should be announcements about the end of the year. I remember last year there was a surge where they gave us details about everything that was kind of changing in 2016 from 2015, and I'm waiting for that. I'm thinking it should be soon, like this, when they announced where the Success Club trip for 2016 was going to be. Trying to think what else. Just information about Summit, what the next program they were going to be releasing. So I just keep an ear out for that. And as I am finding out information, of course, I will share it with you. The Health Bet will be kicking off on January 9th. The last day to sell a challenge pack to get that in, just a reminder, is December 29th, I think. I meant to have it written down, but one of my children walked off with it. So I believe it's December 29th, but you can check the team page for that. And hopefully you're laying the groundwork for that as well. The pot is a whole lot bigger than it was for the first Health Bet. Last time it was only up to $2 million. Now it's up to $3 million. So instead of getting $16, there's a chance we might break over that $20 mark this time. So excited. Might be able to take my family out for dinner at the Chick-fil-A. But anyway, the Health Bet is a great way to get people on board. It gives them that just little bit of extra push, a little bit of extra incentive. So definitely start talking about that, because I know I was told this last year. I'm being told this year. And it's true, guys. December, from like now until Christmas, is going to be slow because people aren't thinking about themselves. They're thinking about their children. They're thinking about their family members. They're thinking about everyone but themselves. But I promise you, after Christmas, they are coming, and they're going to be ready, and they're going to be ready to go running in 2017 with their New Year's resolutions. And please make sure that you are out there, that you are being consistent with your posts, that you are showing them that your business is open in your storefront, the door is unlocked, and you're ready to help them. And not only help them through, I think the average person is only consistent with their New Year's goals for like 3 weeks, but you're going to take them beyond January, beyond February, and make 2017 their year. So just some things to think about. And I am going to hand it over to Rachel. Rachel lives in Eastern Kentucky. She is a mom of 3 and is just an absolutely incredible person. I met her for the first time in when did we go? September in Destin. She is in Katie Ersta's downline, so she's part of the Knockout Brigade. And one thing that really struck me about Rachel is that she just has this ambition about her. She has this no nonsense, I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I no excuses. She has this passion for this business that is, it's indescribable. So I'm so excited to have her on here tonight. I'm so excited to have her sharing with y'all. And I'm going to share my screen, Rachel, and I'm going to pass it over to you, okay?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that introduction. And I am just really, really blessed that I got to meet Alden in Destin, and we got to talk a little bit and just share life over that weekend. So first of all, whenever I meet people, if they don't know me already, I will likely pull out my cell phone and show them a picture of my family, because that's what I do. And you're going to see that these people in the picture right here with me are just everything to me. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can let your why drive you in this business. So as you can see, I am a mom of 3, and I have my husband, and I'll tell you a little bit about me on the next slide. There I am. All right. So my name is Rachel Harvey, and I originally grew up in the Pittsburgh area. So Katie Ersta and I have a mutual friend, and that's how I got to start following her One Fit Fighter page and got into all of this. But I now live in Eastern Kentucky, like Alden said, and I've been here for 7 years. And I married my high school sweetheart right after college, 3 weeks after we graduated. And we're coming up on our 12th anniversary. And so we're going to celebrate in Punta Cana. Yay, Success Club trip. So our sons are Owen, he's 8, and Kimmon's 5, and Mia is 3. And so they keep me very, very busy. And I'm sure those of you with kids can relate. And but really, what got me into health and fitness in the first place was running. So I am a half marathoner, a marathoner, and this summer I am going to attempt my first 50K, so that's 31 miles-ish, and that's really like my passion. And I got into it after my dad had passed away, and I was just trying to like work through losing some baby weight after Camden and just trying to sort out my life. And I got back into running and started racing. So that is a big part of who I am. My like page is Run for Hope, and that's like my release. Obviously with the adoption of my daughter, I have connections with the organization that has helped us to adopt her. And then I ran a marathon for an organization called Show Hope. And so I'm very passionate about them and the work that they do for orphans internationally, and then to help families adopt here in the US too. I have a business degree and I have a master's in leadership. So I, for a long time, had no idea what I was going to do with all of that education, because what I really wanted to do was stay home. So I don't know if other people can say the same thing, but I was kind of floundering, like, why did you, God, like, have me go through all of this school for nothing? So here I am, I'm using it. I started coaching on June 17th, and the reason that I put that specific date down there is important because I'll get to that in a minute, but in my first year, I was able to hit Success Club 10 All-Star, I guess in the first like 13 months. And my team is called Hope Nation. So I titled this Out of the Blocks because when I first started, it was not because I was bored and needed something to do. I was a full-time photographer in the fall and the spring, which meant I was working 40, 50 hours a week. I would work in schools. So I was driving all day long. I was in different schools every day. And my youngest son there, Camden, he was in preschool only 2 days a week. So the other 3, he had to be at a babysitter. And hated that. Like, that broke my heart because I didn't have to do that with Owen. I worked a job from our apartment at the time, and it devastated me to be away from my little guy. I missed his very first day of preschool, and I never wanted to have to miss anything else again. We were also in the process of adopting our daughter. So this was a picture from about a year ago. We got matched in November of last year. So all of the paperwork and all of the things that go into that is very time consuming and costly. And then I was also, on top of that, I was an assistant college cheerleading coach. And so my evenings were spent doing that until I realized that building a business with Beachbody was actually going to be more beneficial for me. So all of this went to combine to make me a very crazy person trying to balance everything. And I'm sure, so many coaches feel like that when they get started, is just, how can I make this fit into what I'm doing? So go ahead, Alden. All right, so this is a picture from last year where I had set a PR in a half marathon. And I love this quote from Vince Lombardi. It says, "If you believe in yourself and have the courage, the determination, the dedication, the competitive drive, and if you are willing to sacrifice the little things in life and pay the price for the things that are worthwhile, it can be done." So the reason I love this is because no matter what the obstacles are, whatever the roadblocks are, if you believe in yourself, if you are determined enough to make this work, then you can do it. You can be successful. And the things that are worthwhile, when your why is that big, then everything else doesn't even matter. So you can go on to the next one. All right, so here's where I'm going to kind of talk about the meat of it. And you can see this is the picture of this is actually adoption day. So we got Mia on April 18th of this year, and April 19th is the official adoption day where you sign the paperwork and all of that stuff. So this was kind of like my big why. It wasn't just Mia, but she was a big part of it.
Am I the only one that's frozen on? She's frozen on your end too? Okay, we'll give it just a second and see. Let me send her a message. So I'm not sure if let's see. Oh, she got kicked off. Okay, we'll see if she jumps back on. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, there she goes.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I didn't know. My internet is terrible, so I didn't know if it was just me, because sometimes it's just me. Okay.
Oh, I think it was on my end. It said it was unstable, and I was just kind of like, maybe it'll come back on. So my why was, to be home with my kids. I hadn't even known who Mia was, and I knew that when she got home, I did not want to put her with a babysitter. I did not want her to go to daycare because she needed me. She needed a family, and she deserves it, just like my other kids do. So, I had that in the forefront of my mind. I had no idea what coaching was. I never did a challenge group. I didn't know anything about it other than One Fit Fighter always talked about great vacations and earning all this money. And if you know anything about Katie Ersta's story, I had followed her as she sweat through cancer. I had followed her, and I just said, oh, that must be nice that they get to do these things. And, oh, she seems like a great person. Oh, she's really fit. And, oh, this is cool to watch her story. And then I was just like, that just will never be me. We were struggling financially, big time. It would be laughable to tell you how much my husband was bringing home at the time. And in the summer, I wasn't working. So we were very, very, very strapped for cash. And Katie had this opportunity and said, this is a golden egg opportunity. Join now, and you're going to be on the fast track to success. So I decided, I prayed about it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to jump on this. And my husband basically said, you can do it if you can pay for it, because we didn't have the $140 for the challenge pack. and I had no idea what I was getting into. But after talking to Katie on the phone and finding out a little bit more about it, I said, okay, I'm all in. And I had to be all in because I'm telling you, we had no money. So I had to make it work. And I knew that if I wanted to see the success that Katie had, then I need to listen to what she did and how she did it. So the very first thing she told me was hit Success Club. I'm sure you've been told that a million times, right? You just hit Success Club. So I signed on the 17th of the month. I had never done anything before. I never had a sip of Shakeology. I waited until my pack arrived on the 24th of the month to even talk about it. And so I had a week. I hit Success Club in that week because I needed to. You know, when you need to, you just get it done. I signed my husband so I could go Emerald. And I did that in the first week. So by July, I said, wow, if I can hit Success Club 5 in a week, then I can hit 10 the next month because Katie says she hits 10 every month. So if that's what she does and that's how she's successful, then that's what I'm going to do. So I just made it my goal that I was going to hit Success Club 10 every single month so I could get paid leads, so I could bring in more income, so I could get closer to rank advancing, so I could do all these other things and grow my business because I did not want to have to do any more than one more season of photography. And I was going to start in August, and I had that one season to get my income up so I didn't have to go back to work. And so that was my why, my family. I had to be out of my job. So, I hit Success Club 10 in July and I haven't missed it since. So I think it's about 16-ish months now. And it's not easy. There are a lot of times where it's not easy, and I'm going to go into that. Okay, so fast forward a year, right? And we were going to get Mia in April, and I was waiting to see what the time frame was for our gotcha day. And we had two options of when we could leave to go to China. And the first one was the very first Wednesday of April. And the next option was the second Wednesday of April. And you know what I chose? The second Wednesday. Why? Because I needed to hit Success Club and I wasn't going to be able to do it in China. So that sounds terrible, right? To put off meeting my daughter for a week. But honestly, it worked out better for my husband's job as well. And in the long run, that's kind of what got me going. So you have a big enough why. Next one is to set a tangible goal. My goal was Success Club 10 no matter what. It didn't matter who was sick. It didn't matter, what was going on or that I was traveling and going to be out of the country for 3 weeks. I had to hit it. So how did I do this? Okay. That was after the 22-minute hardcore release was in March. And then I just basically set it up. I worked through the program. I was also running a marathon 3 days before we left for China. And I invited like crazy. And I made promotions to sign up the very first of the month. I actually hit Success Club 13 before we left. So in 10 days of the month, I did it. I made it happen. And it's because I had so many conversations the previous month. And so this can kind of tie into how you can hit it this month too, because I know December is hard. I've lived through December. It's hard, but we have a new program to run off of. So it's the same situation. You need to hit Success Club before Christmas. At least that's the way I see it. I want to hit by the 22nd. So that means I'm working through Core de Force. It means I'm sharing my journey. It means that I am inviting people like crazy so that I can hit that goal in this tangible deadline to keep moving my business forward, to keep that going. So that's part of it. Part of the other part was, being gone out of the country for 3 weeks. We had a very limited, great internet connection. Let's just put it that way. We had to use VPNs to even get on Facebook. So it was really difficult to have a whole lot of communication. Plus, let's just face it, I was now mom to a brand new girl that had no idea who we were. And we were just really trying to bond and set aside all this time to be with her and not worry about my business, right? So I had to enlist the help of other people. I have been a diamond coach since my 3rd month in the business. I went diamond in 63 days. So I've always had other people on my team, but not necessarily were they working coaches. So about a month before we left, I found every person that could possibly be a working coach, and I encouraged them to step up. And I said, really, I would love for you to help me in these challenge groups, because I had like 3 different groups running at that time. And, so they did. They helped me out because they knew this was important. This is important for my family. And just everybody just kind of helped out. And I had them posting in groups. And, I was up till 3 a.m. for about 2 weeks before we left for China, because I had to get my work done. I got everything pre-posted for an entire month. Try that one. That's not easy. And I just got it done because I knew that it was important when I got back to still have things running. So you do what you got to do, sacrifice sleep from time to time, and get that help from other people. So the other thing is, whenever you have these times, whenever I left for China, I hit my Success Club, I definitely was celebrating that win because it was a weight off of my shoulder. But the thing is, once you have these tough times that might be coming ahead, maybe you have a new baby, or maybe you have someone sick in your family, or maybe you have something else that's just pulling that time away from you. You can prepare as much as you want, but you don't know exactly what's going to come of it after that. So you need to be able to celebrate those small wins, keep that momentum going, because it may not be a one and done event in your life. So we brought Mia home on May 1st. And my boys were still in school for a couple weeks after that, and then they were home for the summer. So now we were transitioning into a family of 5, and I had, the boys were sleeping together in the same room now, and Mia would not fall asleep. It would take 2 hours for her to fall asleep. I was in bed, or in the bed beside her, until 10 p.m. at night. I didn't even get to start working until 10 p.m. So our transition was really a lot longer than just being gone for a little while. It took about 2 months before she got into some kind of sleep schedule. You can go to the next slide. I'm sorry. So these are some of the things that we had dealt with, and maybe you have a different situation than we do. But
I'm trying. Give me 1 second. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, there it goes. There it goes. Sorry, guys.
I didn't give it to you in a great format, so.
No, you're fine. It's my computer. I don't know what it's doing. There we go. Okay.
All right, so there you see my little princess in the top corner. Not everything is fun and rosy and as wonderful as we portray it on Facebook sometimes, but we definitely dealt with the jet lag. She had many doctor's appointments when we got home. So we were transitioning from one thing to the next. The middle picture there with the lollipops, that was all at Cincinnati Children's. We had to take all the kids there one day, which is a 2-hour drive. We have a lot of things going on. She reverted back in her potty training. She was completely potty trained, and then, I don't want to do that anymore. So we had that going on. And night terrors and traveling and new routines and all of this. So this was, I likened it a lot to having a newborn baby, is that transition time for your family, except babies sleep maybe a little bit more during the daytime anyway. So, we had some of these things that we were dealing with, and it didn't mean that my business stopped. It didn't mean that, that I let my foot off the gas, because I still had that Success Club 10 goal in my head, because by Summit, I wanted to be recognized as an all-star. And maybe this is just me, because I'm driven by recognition, and I appreciate so much what Beachbody does for us to really put a lot of emphasis on it, because for someone like me, I didn't even realize I needed it. But my why is my family, but it's not always that kind of job where you get a lot of recognition, right? So it sometimes is very thankless, and to be in a coaching position where you get that recognition for what you do, that really drives me to keep going. So it's important to me. It's important to me that I'm constantly helping more people, because again, I needed to have that income so that I could stay home with them. And as people fall off, you need to introduce new people to challenge groups, and you need to recruit more coaches and all of this. So my business didn't stop despite all of these other things that were going on. I think you can go to the next one. So here's our latest picture. So how do you actually get through some hard times? How do you get through family transitions? How do you get through things that might be really good reasons to step back from the business? How do you keep going? Well, first of all, you got to show up. You got to actually do those vital behaviors every day. You got to get your workout in. You have to post about it. You have to show people that you are still going. One of my best coaches, one of my best friends, decided to join my team because she watched my journey through China. She told me later that she wanted to see how I handled it. And I thought, well, I guess you didn't have a whole lot of faith in me, huh? But no, she was just like saying, I've been watching you for like a year since you started, but I really needed to see if you could do it. Like, I wanted to see if you could do it, because then maybe I could do it. And so she signed up. She is a success starter, got her free ticket to Summit and everything. So I am so grateful for that. And it's because she saw how to work through hard times, how to work through things that are not easy and things that come up in your path. And, I didn't know that I was doing it for her. I was just showing anybody that you can do this no matter what. You just have to show up. You're going to sacrifice in the short term. And I know this because I've talked to, top coaches, and I've talked to all kinds of other people that have done this and seen success in the long run because of those short-term sacrifices. And so for me, that meant staying up till 3 a.m. for 2 weeks. Okay, so that's what I had to do in order to get my work done. And it was worth it, because I was fine. I had those weeks with my daughter when I was in China, and I didn't worry about hitting Success Club or having conversations on the other side of the world. So that's another thing. Time difference made things very difficult in order to work the business. But give yourself grace. When you're going through a hard time, it's okay if things aren't absolutely perfect. It's okay if you do a team call and you don't have a presentation. It's okay if, some of these things go by the wayside so that you can save your sanity, because you're going to be needed for whatever that is, whatever that transition is for your family. They need you. So you need to decide, what of those things can go by the wayside? What of those things are truly important and vital that you need to make the time for, that you need to sacrifice for? And what are the things that need to just be put on hold for now? Maybe it's blogging. Maybe it's, pretty recipe cards that you give to people, or maybe, I don't know what it is, but some of that fluff in the business, it's okay if it's not perfect right now in a time of transition. So just show up daily and sacrifice to do those vital behaviors. Make sure those are done. Make sure you're communicating your goals with your family. Make sure that they are part of the process. So I've gone through pushes, and I guess they weren't necessarily called pushes, but when I went diamond really quickly, that was a push. That was a huge thing. We had other pushes just as recently as August. There was a huge push to go to Destin. I mean, I've had these times where it's just hard, and you're working and you're busting tail and you're trying to get ridiculous SC points and all this stuff because of a goal that you have to reach. So I communicate with my husband, and I let him know, as much as it's not like his favorite thing in the world for me to be working all the time. I let him know, hey, listen, for this month, for cup month, for whatever it is, I know we're still in transition. I know the kids are kind of crazy right now, but I need to focus on my business a little more this month. And when August 31st hit, then, I reached my goal and I was done with the crazy hours that I was keeping. But it was a short term I had a time frame on it. I said, this month is going to be crazy. I'm just letting you know. And I might need some extra help around the house, and we might need to do things a little bit differently and get the kids in bed maybe 15 minutes earlier or whatever it was. But when you communicate those goals and your family understands like why it's important to you and why you're pushing so hard is for them, then, you know, even if they're not ecstatic about the fact that the time is going to be spent, they will be a little bit more understanding if you involve them on the front end and communicate. So whatever your dream is, whatever it is that really motivates you and drives you, don't ever give up on that dream, because you can do it. You just have to really just set your mind to it. Always put in the back of your mind, why am I doing this? What am I doing it for? And how can I make those short-term sacrifices to make those things happen? Like Alden said when she introduced me, just I don't give into excuses. I don't feel like I have the time for excuses, because that's all they are. Is if you want something bad enough, then you're going to find a way to make it happen. And I know for me, I have other struggles with things like time management is not so hot, and I drink too much coffee, and you know, there's all kinds of little things that I've got that I'm working on too. But I am not going to miss Success Club. I am not going to, you know, give up on this dream for my family, because I know the work that I'm putting in now is going to show up in the long run. I know that my income doubled in a year. Now, like, what other job have I had where your income can double in a year? It's just crazy, right? So even if, you know, I'm not making the 6 figures or whatever, I know that my upline has, and she is, and I know that I'm just following in the same footsteps. So, you know, you guys all have a great upline coach and above her, and I know them also. I mean, you guys are in a great position to be able to have success because you have successful people going before you and showing you the way. So just that's pretty much what I have for you tonight. But I really appreciate you letting me be on this call and just sharing our story a little bit, because I know that so often we get tied up in different things in our life that will just suck the time out of us and energy out of us. And we just like, man, I don't even know, like, I don't have time to invite, I don't have time to do this. But when you think about why are you doing this in the first place? Can you spend 5 minutes inviting because of your family or because of whatever your why is? And then you'll find the time to do it.
Rachel, that was absolutely awesome. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. One of my biggest takeaways from that is definitely sitting down and figuring out what your why is. Why are you doing this? What is your goal? What is your end result? Like, you know, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, where do you want to be? Where do you want this business to take you? And if you haven't thought about it, it's time. It's time to sit down and figure it out. I have, not recently, but shared on our team page my why, what drives me, what gets me up every day, what moves me forward. And I think if it wasn't for that, I probably would have given up a long time ago. I wouldn't be hitting Success Club every month and putting points on the board every month. I would just be, you know, it makes it a lot easier for those excuses. And, you know, I've never have been through something like an international adoption. So I admire you more than I could ever put into words, and just appreciate you. We have 3 minutes and 37 seconds before they make me pay for this Zoom call, and I'm still too cheap to pay for that. So does anybody have any quick, short answers for Rachel before we hop off?
No, just thank you for presenting tonight. It was great.
Well, thank you for having me. I love sharing our story. I just wonder if, you know, people can relate to it, because there aren't a whole lot of people out there that have done what we've done, but I know that there are tons of people that have gone through family life transitions and other things in their life that can maybe relate and take a little nugget away.
I think it's definitely relatable, because I feel like, even if they're not going through the adoption process, everyone has something that maybe they're not going through it right now, but at some point in their business, something will come up that will make them say, you know, like you said, where it would be easier to just take a step back instead of taking a step forward. So thank you so much for sharing, and thank you guys for hopping on. I'm excited to share this recording with the rest of our team, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week.
Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good night.